Hello, I'm Glorious Liar, and this is the third installation of my glitch explanation series. Today I will be explaining a glitch that is not exclusive to DK64. It exists in many forms and in many different games. I'm talking about Noclip. Noclip is a glitch that allows the player to have unrestricted movement, passing through collision that normally stops you. It allows for many sequence breaks by going out of bounds or straight up ignoring obstacles that block your progress. Let's get started. The easiest and most notable example of Noclip in DK64 is in Galleon. Due to the way chunks of the level load, Noclip is easily achieved by simply using a warp pad. After the water is raised from the switch by the lighthouse, you can exit and re-enter the level to unload any objects in the level and set them to their default state. The default state of objects is something I will explore more later, but as a simple demonstration, you can see that the level first loads objects into memory under the assumption that the water is not yet raised. Here is a visualization of this concept. By performing swim through vertical walls at the entrance of Galleon, you can swim around some void triggers and straight into the main area. By doing this, you can see objects that are loaded on entry as they become visible. For a brief moment while being updated to visible, objects exist in their default state, including their position. Here you can see the platform that holds Warp 2 at its low water default position. Knowing this, we can start to understand Noclip. By never loading the area of Galleon and heading straight to Warp 2, you can backflip on the pad and hold Z, which will instantly teleport you. Landing on Warp 2 loads the corresponding warp in the main area, but by zipping immediately it warps us to the low water location as its position has not yet been updated. This causes the warping animation to be cancelled on the other end as it gets interrupted by entering water. Cancelling this animation preserves the Noclip effect that is given by warps, and allows you to keep Noclip in the water. And you can bypass obstacles blocking loading zones, for example. It is fortunate that you can interact with loading zones while in this state, because you cannot interact with tag barrels, transformation crates, enemies, and more while in this state. The byte in memory that is responsible for this property is located at an offset of 0x144 from the Kong's object. The Kong's object pointer is located at 0x807FBB4C. So by dereferencing this pointer and adding the Noclip offset, we can view what state the Kong is in. In many basic gameplay scenarios, the Kong is in state 0x3C, but when Noclip is active, the byte is set to 0x1. I want to note here that the swim through vertical walls glitch mentioned earlier is not Noclip. This is another mechanic that can be abused in many ways, but is the result of an error in calculation of the facing angle leaving first person. Leaving first person in a range of values called the phase angle, collision detection fails. Here are a number of ways we can abuse this phase angle. First, I'd like to give a shout out to TJ, a longtime glitch hunter for DK64 that discovered a plethora of the glitches in this video. These are just some of them. I already showed you the swim through vertical walls, but here's a way to fall through vertical walls. By exiting first person in the phase angle while falling off a high up ledge, you preserve the phase property and can pass through certain walls. We call this phase falling. Similarly, you can just straight up walk through walls if you are grounded and execute a series of frame-perfect inputs that include letting your control stick go neutral. We call this phase walking. Similar to phase falling, if we pull out the camera after executing a skid jump, a frame-perfect skid and jump input, we can get into a first-person state while slightly off the ground. Exiting this will preserve the phase property and you can pass through a wall while falling. This is much more viable for real-time runners as it is low risk and fairly easy to perform, unlike phase walking. Now back to Noclip. Another object besides warp pads that gives you Noclip is the tag barrel. It's important that you don't take damage while tagging, so the developers give you Noclip while in the tag barrel void. I'm going to explain another glitch briefly that I can't explore in full depth in a single video. This glitch is tag barrel storage. Tag barrel storage, or TBS, is a glitch that preserves properties of the tag barrel while giving control back to the player. To execute TBS, you must transition into a new state while entering it. Not every state transition accomplishes this, but to give some examples, skid jump on crouching as well as entering a falling animation accomplishes this goal. While in TBS you can still tag to another Kong, but because control was given back, you can do it from a remote location. If you are able to preserve the Noclip effect by avoiding specific animation states that kill the effect, such as by chaining a bunch of busy animations, you can keep Noclip while on land. One of the easiest ways to preserve Noclip on land is with our pal Lanky Kong. By getting tag barrel storage by entering a rank stand, the interruption puts Lanky on the floor in a crouch state if you hold Z the entire time. Consequently, because he can enter a rank stand from here, an animation that allows free movement and does not kill Noclip, you can rank stand freely with Noclip. I found this trick in 2017, but I can't stress enough how much it was just a basic extension of what TJ had already discovered about Noclip. A cool consequence of this, by combining the concepts of remote tagging and the default state of objects, is as follows. Lanky performs TBS by entering a rank stand. The tag barrel is still active, so you can remote tag from anywhere. Lanky enters a rank stand by pressing B with Z still held, avoiding a tag by spinning the barrel. Lanky walks across the room, out of bounds with the Noclip property, and tags DK. DK is now out of bounds behind the arcade room. If the arcade room was never loaded, the round 1 golden banana is still in its default state, hidden inside a pipe. Remember what I said about default states? This means it can be collected before disappearing if we're clever. By carefully approaching the room without loading it, DK can backflip into the golden banana, collecting it and skipping the first round of DK Arcade. Very cool. Credit goes to the Balam96 for a lot of the spawn snag magic that revolutionized DK speedrunning in 2017. Side note, this method of getting out of bounds is useful for the virtual console version of DK64, because clipping through walls from lag is nearly impossible on that version. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. For my next video or two, I'll be straying slightly from glitch explanations, and rather will be exploring how we can chain these exploits together into cohesive routes with interesting consequences. I'll see you next time.